to Academy 2.0, where we focus on giving you the opportunity to learn from professionals from various fields to help you explore your passions and your interests. Hi, my name is Elaine, and today I will be interviewing Dr. Persia, who specializes in complex event processing and analysis in large-scale databases. Today, I will ask a series of interesting questions about Dr. Persia's work for him to answer. This video will showcase the highlights of this conversation. But if you are interested in listening to the full interview, feel free to tune into our Spotify using the link in the description. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So, hi, Dr. Persia. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be here. We're really excited to have you. And our first question is, please introduce yourself, including your area of expertise and a fun fact you would like us to know.
Okay, sounds good. Elaine, thank you very much for your interest, and thank you very much for interviewing me. Just a quick introduction. Of course, I'm currently associate professor at the Department of Information Engineering, Computer Science, and Mathematics of the University of L'Aquila in Italy. And basically, my research interests include the fields of complex event processing over the years, basically, and also analysis in large-scale databases applied to multimedia, semantic analysis, and security. And let's say I started applying these techniques related to complex event processing to video surveillance domain because I was very passionate about video surveillance. Then I also tried to apply them from different perspectives and also to other domains such as social network analysis and cybersecurity, and in the last few years also to the medical domains. And I would say my life is a bit busy, and let's say as a kind of fun fact, my activities involve all around Italy because, I was born in Rome, which is central Italy. And then I grew up and studied my high schools and then universities and then PhDs in Naples, which is south of Italy. And then after my postdoc in Naples, I moved to Bolzano, which is northern Italy, so very close to the border to Austria. So also, even if we are still in the same country in Italy, let's say there are so many differences between southern Italy and northern Italy, which is very fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like you moved a lot within Italy. And you mentioned that as a PhD student and a postdoctoral researcher, you actually were in Naples. So how did that experience and your other early experiences shape your current role as an associate professor at the University of L'Aquila?
Yeah, actually, I have to admit they had a very great impact on it because, Naples is a very nice city. So it's a bit chaotic, but it's nice. They have sea, so we have people who are usually very kind, try to help you somehow. But it's as also one of my supervisors used to say, it's a school of life because it really teaches you a lot how to behave, how to be kind, how to be, let's say, respectful. So many, many things. So I have to admit it had a very great impact, both from, let's say, in terms of character point of view. It had a great influence on my character, I would say, but also in terms of the education, because the School of Engineering in general, and also the School of Computer Engineering in Naples is very well known to be somehow also strict. So we have nice life, but also strict, let's say, schools, which is a bit contradictory, but this is a nice combination anyway. And last but not least, let's say it was a school of life, and it taught me how to be passionate about things. So I try to be passionate in life, in research, in teaching, in whatever I do.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of passion, it seems like you're really passionate about your field, event processing, semantic analysis, and security. And I was wondering what initially drew you to these areas, or why were you passionate about these areas in the first place? And how have your research interests evolved over time?
Yeah, actually, it's a very nice question. Thank you for that. Actually, it was very important to me to have a mentor who, let's say, passed to me his passion. So I still remember during my bachelor studies in computer engineering, in a school which, as I told you, it was very strict. But in the second semester, second year, I met Professor Antonio Picariello, who was very patient, very calm, very human. So it also was very strict as well, but very human, very available. It had an additional value with respect to other people, and I was passionate to him and also to his staff, the way they do stuff, and also of course, the topics. I was interested in databases because it's a very nice topic to me, and still working in a database group now, also in the research. So uh, he had a very great impact on this. And yeah, it's a very pity that unfortunately he passed away in 2020, all of a sudden. And then, yeah, I had, let's say, the honor to establish an awards during the ISM, IEEE ISM conference in his memory about the best paper. And yeah, that's why I started with him. I started with the bachelor. I started first with the database course, and then I told myself, well, it would be great to work with his group during the bachelor of thesis period. And this is what happened. So I started with him working on complex event processing during my bachelor thesis, working on simple events. So of course, I helped let's say a senior student to develop some algorithms for detecting images, people and objects within images. And then I continued during the master degree, during master thesis again with them, but not focusing anymore on the, let's say, on the detection of simple events, but I'm trying to detect even more complex events, such as modeling them in different manners. So first exploring ontologies, and then with Professor Subramanian during my PhD, also exploring stochastic automata, so other stuff. So the goal was to develop models to detect complex events, such as two people who directly exchange or indirectly exchange the package, or a package which was left unattended, or a potential theft.
And it seems like you have a lot of like publications in top journals and conferences. So can you share some of your publications as well as findings that you found were really important or something that you believed had the most impact?
Yeah, let's say as I told you, during my career, I mostly work on complex event processing, and yeah, I still remember since all some years that passed, a very nice publication I was involved and I really worked on a lot. That was a recommender system for which was at that time developed for a virtual, in the context of a virtual museum, so for recommending items. In that case, paintings to users, and we made a case study on the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, so with real paintings and real experimentation with many people involved. When I was still working in Naples, and yeah, the idea, the paper was very well cited because the approach is anyway was original and extendable also to other domains, either to videos, and because we at that time defined the algorithm which in an original manner was able to combine both similarity among items, which means low-level similarity in terms, for instance, of the shape, of the texture of the image, and also high-level similarity in terms of the text, in terms of all metadata on top of the image, and also the behavior of the single user. We are recommending the new paintings, which we, of course, collected, grasped, and analyzed in the beginning, and also the behavior of the entire community of users, especially the group we figured out the user belongs to. So it was an original, let's say, original approach which combines many things in a flexible way.
Yeah, that was a great answer. And so now in the final portion of the interview, we wanted to ask you about advice you would have to our audience who are mainly like young students who are passionate about computer science and computer engineering. So what are like the three most important skills? They can be like soft skills or hard skills you think students who are interested in your field should have.
Yeah, I think important skills, especially during the bachelor studies, and then of course they could improve it also during the master studies, is to acquire new basics. So the basics, in Azure, you should really acquire the basic stuff, the mindset and the basic stuff of everything. Because, of course, and then you can go deeper during the master courses, of course. Because, just to cite my example, during my Azure at that time, I studied C++. So, for instance, Python at that time wasn't that popular and wasn't used that much. But of course, during the last few years, I needed to learn, of course, Python from scratch. But since you know the the basics, you know how things work, this is not difficult. So that's why I'm saying the very first thing, acquire the basics during visual stuff, how to reason, how to deal with any problem in engineering, and then, of course, technology evolves, and you have to follow the evolution somehow. But if you have good basics, this will be not so difficult. And then, apart from the really technical skills and mindset, of course, the perseverance, because as I told you before, so things sometimes could not work as we expected, many reasons, but we don't have to give up. This is the keyword, the key point. And then also be diligent. So not just do things for the exam. So do things for the exam, but thinking that this time, not just the exam. This is usually what I tell my students. I tell my students, please don't just figure out what is the best way to pass the exam. Otherwise, you will be overfitted with the exam. You really need to learn things because it's an investment, and then you will exploit such kind of things you learned during your life, your working life. So this would be very important. And also the resiliency because connected to the perseverance in everything, because as I told you, life could be difficult, many things might happen, but we really need to focus on our goal,
Yeah, that's really good advice. Thank you so much for coming to this interview and taking time out of your day to be here with us. And I think we all took a lot of inspiration from what you said. So thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome, and thank you again for contacting me. Very happy.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a good night. Thank you, Dr. Perscia, and thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this interview helped you gain more interest into the amazing field of complex event processing. Please check out our Spotify via the link in the description for the full interview. If you're interested in more content like this, please explore all the other videos we have on our channel. We hope to see you in our future videos as we explore other intriguing topics.